The mystery of thunder and lightning. The mystery of thunder and lightning. It was said to be a lightning strike that was the cause of the approximated 211 Canadian wildfires, engulfing roughly 200,000 acres, 145 of those wildfires being said to be out of control as we speak, again stemming from June 2nd in the central Canadian provinces of Ontario and Quebec. Now, lightning is caused by the buildup of negative charges between the air, the clouds, and the ground. The electrical discharge is a clicking sound that comes from the spark. The thunder that follows is the sound of the 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit clicking being quieted by the distance it travels. So, as a society, we have more wildfires than the Canadian provinces of Quebec and Ontario. Now, all information is being stored in what we call clouds. And in these clouds of information, there are positive and negative charges, or energies, or prices. But charges, now all of this is a causing of thunderstorms of perspectives and raging wildfires of groups, and the smoke from these clouds of content is seen worldwide. Some call it the opening of the bottomless pit, where the smoke from below rises up to mix in and overtake the smoke from above. You see that, and an angel is said to be holding a chain which contains the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from this smoke comes the spirits of Scorpio, Leo, and Gemini. Those beast insects that come from this bottomless pit described in Revelation have lion's heads, scorpion stingers, and snake tails. So from the abyss of darkness, of the darkest influence, comes the dark side of the lion, the locust, and the scorpion, and the kundalini. All of these forces are joining in the conflict that's taking place on the ground level, or what we're calling above. And all of this thickens the proverbial air, making it harder to breathe from a stance of societal expression. Any little thing spoken out of context can cause a wildfire of opposition to spring up. Now, light is said to have a speed that is 50 times faster than sound. And another meaning for light is to be less heavy. And a third meaning for light means to know. All of them apply. To be less heavy-hearted allows you faster and further travel. Knowledge allows you to travel faster and further. Being bright or positive allows you to travel faster and further than anything you can hear. That's how much faster thought is than words. So your thoughts travel even faster and further than your words do. And this is the mystery behind thunderstorms. The weather is a reflection of the mirror that happens in society. Nature is just nurture, but thunderstorms and lightning strikes take place in nurture also. Not just storms in nature, but storms in nurture. And just like there are only 400 firefighters in Canada to tackle that problem, there are only so many content creators, actors, musicians who are here to put out the fires. So if anyone believes that there's a such thing as hell on earth, they can look into the inner meaning behind this natural phenomenon of lightning and the artificial phenomenon of human conflict causing a clique or a group, causing a clicking sound or a posse, a clique. But keep in mind, the thunder is the atmosphere's best attempt to muffle the sound of the click. Let that sink in. So by the time we hear the rumblings of a rumor, the rulers will have only moved on. By the time they give a man 2 life sentences in prison, the agent provocateurs will have already moved on. By the time a person is confused and identity bereft, the crisis actors will have already moved on. By the time you hear the clap, the click will have already moved on. In some schools of thought, they're said to be etheric clouds of imperceptible colors and odors that siphon and harvest the energies of all things, people, and animals. And then the physical reality represented by these energies is said to be converted into physical experiences, and then a torrential thunderstorm of manifestations ensue. It happens inside of what is called dark matter, charged by an androgynous entity that we call dark energy in the higher scientific community. So just like the reigning of the code in the Matrix franchise, All of reality is cloaked in a code that we collectively call information. When you look at a couch, it's never just a couch. It's a brown couch. It's a long couch. It's your favorite couch. It's where your life partner watches movies with you. It's where y'all eat. Now this is where your kids are told not to jump on. All of this is the code that's running through the couch. So it's not just the couch. This is the secret to Earth being a computer. You see, everything we see and hear and feel and in this place, it's computed. And now you understand, for something to be computed is to be perceived, experienced. Earth is where we compute these things. But this computer extends beyond what we're calling Earth, you understand, because Earth is only another word for ground. This dome is what we're considering a planet because it's a planned net. The net is shaped like a dome. That's a planet. The Earth is just simply ground. Ground extends throughout space, or whatever you want to call it out there. So it's not the ground, but the nature of the sphere covering this section of everlasting ground or infinite surface. That's how those particular schools of thought see it. So with that, understanding the infinite space, you now have this dark energy that can't be perceived, being the essence of it all, the one who's powering it all, who's giving dark matter expression. So in that part of the scientific community and other metaphysical sciences also, they ascribe dark energy a character, unintentionally though, but still. So not the ground, but the nature of the sphere. So this is a theory that's held by both the newest thinkers and the most ancient thinkers at the same time. So, if you combine modern science with a lot of the ancient cosmologies, their agreement really speaks to the possible validity of this stance when factoring in the mathematical possession of mean, median, and mode to find out the average. And this will be like an average agreed upon consensus that at least spans far enough to find the mode at the very least. Mode connecting to majority more so than average. These are just observations though, and possible workable theories. These topics are also included in the societal clouds of information that hover above and rain down. The definition of things reveals the shape that the human eye cannot detect. So sending frequencies that the human ear cannot detect is also a property of all of this. Golden souls, this is why animals, both wild and domestic, seem to almost come to you for shelter. And why it's seemingly like there's no young people who are ever put off by you. It seems like everybody, kind of wants to be around you. You're generally and genuinely magnetic. This is your golden soul, and this is because they can hear this and they can see this. They can see it's your ether. It's also known as your aura or full-bodied halo or pheromones. If one or none of these resonate with you, you can still attest to experiencing how negative people can make everyone feel uncomfortable even before the negative people behave. And this is all a part of the social and spiritual wildfires that are taking place. It burned up a lot of churches. It burned a lot of temples down too. These spiritual wildfires. Psychological wildfires. It burned down a lot of institutions, a lot of office buildings, a lot of schools, a lot of arenas, a lot of shopping centers, a lot of movie theaters, a lot of malls. We saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning, right? We saw adversarial thoughts in the mind strike the human experience with a duplication of hell. Expressions of validation would include, that was fire, this is fire, yo, that was fire. An invitation to battle is, who want the smoke? Who wants smoke? I got the smoke. So yes, we're in hell. And we've been in hell the whole time. And you can prove the scriptures if you read them this way. This way. People weep, wail, and gnash their teeth forever and ever, right here, right now on earth. The worms who dig up dirt and redescend into their own mud, those worms never die, right now, right here on earth. What's physically happening in Quebec and Ontario is socially happening in the overall human experience. If this is not hell, then why did Jesus say Satan is the god of this world? If this is not hell, then why does violence and sex sell? If this is not hell, why do we find ourselves looking for monsters? Because this is what happens when we take things like literature only at face value and we don't intake it. We don't take it in. So we don't necessarily intake the information. We don't assimilate it. We don't break it down. We don't make it practical. And therefore we can't see. Jesus made it distinctly clear in the scriptures. For other people, these things, these scriptures, text, movies, they're just stories. But for others of you who have your mind's eye enlightened and can see the truth, you got the mysteries of the kingdom right in front of you. Right. So that's how you decode this. You're not looking for signs. A wicked and adulterous generation seeks after signs. Everything is parabolic, but behind that is the mystery of all other things. And this is the mystery of thunderstorms and lightning strikes. Older illustrations call thunder the voice of God, and they call lightning the arrows of God, which is true because the term God means absolute power. So Satan, being the god of this world, has a level of absolute power in it. And lastly, the prophet Elijah is the one who's representing the fathers being reconciled to their children. That's what the scriptures say. The father is the creator, and the child is the believer, the one, the magician who makes all things possible. Again, the creator all over again. The innocent part of us, the soul, our truest, our purest self, this represents that. We'll no longer create things that we don't want to experience, but we'll create the things that we truly hope, believe in. You know what I mean? The things that we can dare to imagine. This reconciles those energies being the primary winning of bread for the day, rather than being a cog in somebody else's machine. This is the mystery behind thunderstorms.